Launch Maverick on alert 5.
Got a bearing on Hollywood and Wolfman, and launch the rescue helicopter immediately.
Maverick's airborne.
Nice, man. What's your position?
090 at 180 miles.
Yeah, we're coming in left.
3 MiGs dead ahead, coming down the left side. I'm going after him. I'm bringing her out to the left.
We got 4 on our tail. That makes 6 of them. Lead MiG is closing into guns range. He's firing. Break right.
Mustang, this is Voodoo 1. We are totally defensive. Launch the alert fighter.
Where are they?
160 miles and closing in fast, sir.
Ready Willard and Simpkin off catch 3 and 4.
Maverick supersonic. I'll be there in 30 seconds.
Move your ass. Get up here. I'm engaged with 5. Repeat 5. I'm in deep shit.
What about Willard and Simpkin?
Both catapults are broken. We can't launch any aircraft yet, sir.
How long?
It'll take 10 minutes.
Bullshit, 10 minutes. This thing will be over in 2 minutes. Get on it.
I mean, I remember 1985, back in the day, Colonel Stinger was a little bit concerned about launching some jets. And let's look at that phrase that he laid out for us, because we've all been there before. How long? It'll take 10 minutes, bull, 10 minutes. It'll be over in 2. Let's focus on the 10, 10, and 2. We've all been there before, right? But our world isn't quite 10 minutes, and 2. Our world looks something like this. Client A, how long? 10 weeks. Bull, 10 weeks. It'll be over in 2 weeks. Now, come on, you've all been there, right? 10 weeks is an eternity, right? But 2 weeks, really? And then you have this client, my personal favorite. How long will it take? I'll knock it out in 10 days. It'll be over in 10 days. I need it in 2. Practical, right? So it's not that far-fetched in the world that I live in, because we get those requests all the time. And the requests aren't, hey, Rick, could you put together this study and come back to me sometime in January and we're going to make... That's not my world. And it probably isn't your world either, because these requests happen over and over and over again. So the question we have to ask is, how can we maintain great methodology, amazing QC from a data standpoint, and still deliver robust research in the time constraints that our clients continue to get tighter and tighter and tighter? So when we talk about rapid response research, it's normally in my world because something has changed. There's been a project, a product, a company change, something's gone on. And so let me give you a couple of examples of how that's going to play out. So rapid response for me is Walmart launched some C-stores. You guys may have read about Walmart launching C-stores. The question was, when you read about that data, was it a news article or was it someone actually providing insights about Walmart's C-store? Had a client come to us and said, listen, I know this is going to be happening in the next week or so. I really want to be able to go into my client and provide insights as to what's happening. So we were in the store when it launched day 1. We had 50 people go into one store and provide research back. So by the end of day 1, that client had insights about what was happening in a store same day. Now, we had a little bit of prep work, right? You have to understand kind of what's happening from a prep standpoint. But if we talked about this today, you guys are either going to yawn or say ho-hum, and no one cares about it in January. They care about it that day. Take it a little bit further. Walmart, man, they did something about free 2-day shipping, something along those lines. You guys probably saw significant numbers of articles that were coming out with canned pictures and canned data. But what if I told you we talked to 500 people, same day this was announced, and asked a couple of core questions, right? Hey, will you start shopping at Walmart.com more? And they said, well, sure. But then that would be a quick question. You said, yeah, but the researcher said, yeah, but what about this question? Are you going to switch to primary? You know, and 70% said not very likely, not likely at all. Now, I give you a couple of data points like that to show is that at that moment, when it was newsworthy, are you going to rely on the Wall Street Journal, AP, someone else to write your data? Or does your client need to be in the know from a research perspective what this announcement means? You've got to be in a position to do that. Another example, Dollar General jumped in, did a new store, sent people in, captured the data. Almost every article we saw had the same canned photo that Dollar General played out, and we had photo and video of the store within 2 hours of the store opening that day. Last piece along those lines. Do you remember when Jet.com was purchased? I mean, how many folks here could find a panel that has thousands of Jet.com users? When the announcement happened, in 7 hours, we had 250 Jet.com users giving us information near real time, and we had 3 different clients and 2 editors pushing out information same day about what was happening with Jet.com users. Now, I give you those examples primarily because they were points in time, and without the right type of robust methodology and the right type of provider to give you information, many of you are going to be left out. Now, again, we could argue about Field Agent all day long. There's a host of people or providers that are out there today. So my encouragement to you on just newsworthy types of things, who's your provider? Does your client really need to know? Are you going to rely on the Wall Street Journal to tell you what's going on? Or are you going to provide data for them? So if you play that out a little bit, what happened this past week? How many folks have actually shopped at Amazon Fresh? If you go to our blog today, you're going to see video and data coming in near real time. So example again of exhaustive research study, no, not 6 months. Great methodology, yes. Was it relevant? Yes as well. So time and time again, you're going to see that. The next piece we take on is, gosh, Rick, other than the rapid response things, and again, mobile's been around for a while, so I understand how you guys go do that. What's kind of the next phase for that? And so the next phase for us has begun. We've actually left the weeks and days, and we were dealing with this guy. You guys know who this guy is, right? That's Lenny. 10 minutes? What do you mean it's going to take 10 minutes? I need it in 2 minutes. Think of the last time you walked into a room with your study, your client's there, the VP, general manager walks in that you weren't prepared to walk in. They come in and they ask 3 more questions, and you realize, there's no way I can answer those 3 questions right now. Even if I had to go back to the market, it would be months, and it's not going to be relevant. It's the Lennys of the world that are pushing you harder and harder and harder to understand what's going on. So the question becomes, how can you find that out? So many would say, you know what, Lenny, I'll go down the hall, I'll Bing it, I'll Google it. As a matter of fact, I might even go to Green Book and see if there's other research that's out there so I can give him some perspective. This is really the only tool that you've got. But it's old, it's data, it's dated, and at best, maybe you call a couple of friends and say, hey, run out to a store real quick, or do you have a couple of people that can answer a couple of questions for me? It's pretty difficult. So in my world, as time continues to be more and more constrained, I've gone from days and weeks down to minutes, and the tool that we pushed out is called Jikko. Jikko is actually an on-demand search engine where you can actually Google or Jikko a question, as opposed to having to go to Google and rely on data that's 3 or 6 months old. So a couple of examples for you. Client came to us and said, listen, I just need to understand this for my meeting this afternoon, and my normal methodology, I simply couldn't turn it around. They went into Jikko, typed it in, said take a picture of children's book display at Ross stores, tell me how many books are on display, put it out there. In 12 minutes, they had data back. In 43 minutes, they had 6 locations. Said, okay, yeah, Rick, that's like an oddity kind of thing. But what about consumers? And I just finished this focus group, real story, focus group. The buyer was there, the marketing manager was there, we're going through, and we just finished our 2nd focus group. And the buyer says, I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. Now, the thing was getting ready to derail. But what if I told you within an hour I had 50 data points confirming the hypothesis, and the buyer says, Uncle, I give up, I get it. That's the world you live in. So now, imagine you're in a focus group and someone said, yeah, but I'm trying to figure out about Walmart baby gift registry. Did you use it or not? Well, within 3 minutes, I had the first answer. Within 20 minutes, I had 6 answers. and had great qualitative data from 6 data points. Now again, not a massive research study, I'm not saying that. But when you're in the throes of research and you get that rabbit trail or you get that emotion taking you left and right, the question is, what tool do you have that's going to help solve that? Final example for you. Show me examples of technology used in cosmetic sections at retail. This is a JCPenney example. Within 7 minutes, we had our first answer back. Now these are real examples of clients that were either in a meeting struggling, like, oh my gosh, I have no clue of the answer. Or they're coming into a meeting, realize they need to know X, or they're leaving that meeting saying, I need to have some piece of data before tomorrow, how can I make that happen? Now, I take you down that path in those stories to simply say, the technology that's in front of you today is that good. Now, I'm not gonna diss any of the paper surveys or focus groups, because remember, billion-dollar brands were launched by paper surveys and focus groups. Don't let anyone tell you any different. I mean, you can go talk to Sianagami and P&G and he'll tell you 20 years ago, pre-selfie and pre-internet, we really did research differently. That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying when you look at the methodologies you have today and your clients continue to push and push and push, and you continue to struggle with the whole concept of faster, 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 how can you take great methodology, put it into a machine that gives you near real-time data in a way that meets your need that still supplements what you're doing today? So that's my world and how I live through it. My encouragement to you today is if you walk up and down the corridor, you're gonna find a half dozen people that would fall into this. And we would love to say that we're one of those. And you're naive to think that your current clients today aren't gonna continue to demand it. Whether it be via an RFP because they're requiring certain methodologies, or they're simply saying, gosh, here's a shiny object over here and you don't provide that. So you need to figure that out. You need to be able to make that happen. So that's my world today. And as you think about the swirliness, right? You think about the Top Gun analogy, and you've got that look on your face that you know you can't answer anything and you know you're in trouble. Know that there's people like us out there to help you. Thank you very much, and I'll take some questions.